were in this competition?
Great question, Marco. Thank you. There were 28 of them this year, and one of them is a homebrewed Oktoberfest. So I opened it up to homebrewers this year. If you wanted to send your beer to me or get it to me somehow, I would include it in the competition. I thought that would be a fun little twist this year. We got one homebrew entry, so all of you homebrewers, you should have given me beers. But Elijah Moreland, he made it to the second round. I was impressed with his. I don't remember who he beat in the first round though. I should probably have that all written down in front of me. But so that one's not sitting up here because it was just a home brewer, and so it's just a brown bottle. It's kind of boring. And then
is that my trivia night guy?
I started counting. Yes, he is.
That's my trivia night guy,
that's
right?
Your trivia guy. And we did a count before we went live, and there's only 27 of them up here, so I don't know which one that I forgot. So aside from that one, so there's only 26 sitting up here on stage. So 27 for the homebrew. There's one more that I didn't bring somehow, and that's the bonus points tonight. Whoever can figure out which one is not up here.
So you've got the ones up front,
10 made up points
plus these.
All right. So the way this works, we're gonna do 2 against 2. And then that'll leave us with 2, and then I will be the final judge for those so that I can still say it's my choice of the best Oktoberfest.
Sure.
That's the only way I could make it make sense. However, we have A, B, C, and D, and we'll make it random. My wife and kids are sitting over there. Hey, Bean, can you pick A, B, C, or D? What did she say? A. And then I need somebody to compete against A. Josh, you know which ones they are. Somebody shout out B, C, or D. Which one? D.
I love when you bring the D.
All right, we're gonna do A versus D. And now this is not necessarily being judged to style because we have. I guess we should probably kind of explain the difficulty with Oktoberfest.
Yes, please.
There's a range of what Oktoberfest means, and you guys feel free to dive into yours and start thinking about them while we're talking. Oktoberfest can range anywhere from this darker Märzen, which is probably what a lot of people think of when they think of Oktoberfest, all the way to the lighter fest beers, which clearly, if you guys can see these up here, there is definitely a fest beer, so we know which one this is. And so, but within that, there's a spectrum, and some of them kind of sit in the middle, some of them kind of drift one way, some of them drift the other, so this is not to style like a lot of competitions. Speaking of competitions, 3 of these beers belong to breweries that just won medals at GABF this week.
Yeah, congratulations.
Hell yeah.
I don't know if that's a strange coincidence that in the finals of OktoberfestQuest, there's a bunch of medal
congratulations. I mean, and do you want to go ahead and rip off the names and the beers, the breweries that won GABF?
Sure. So one of these is Brink, as you see right over here. They won for, Zumi? Is that coffee porter-ish? Something, coffee stout. Silver medal. You're really testing me here. See if I can remember what medals everything was.
I know you can.
Sonder won a silver for Cato. Their coffee is blonde ale now.
Yeah, hello. Yes.
And then Madtree won a gold, the second gold for Happy Amber for an ESB, which we could...
I love it. Extra special beer.
And Westside deserves to win a medal at GABF, but did not this year. Did you guys enter this year? No, you should have.
You can't win if you don't enter. I mean,
we could have had 4 medal winners.
It's like the lottery, right? Can't win if you don't play.
Did you guys try either one of these yet?
Mm-hmm.
I did.
What do you guys think? Very similar.
So here's the thing. When I would watch you doing this over the course of this, several month process. I mean, I think you started in February. When
feels like it some days.
When you were doing this, I would take it as funny that you would say, "Oh, this is close," but no, it's close. It is very, very difficult to pick out or discern differences between these two beers in particular.
It becomes like little minor things that you like more.
Yes.
Like that's why
Right.
sometimes
Yes.
you'll see me doing the showdown and be like, well, this one here is a little bit clearer than the other one, or this one has a prettier head on the beer. And those are the things that actually push it to me to the next one. So it's really difficult sometimes.
It's very difficult.
It's a
And
rough life.
It should be. We got down to your favorite last four, right? So it should be difficult. And they're from great breweries. So this is extremely tough to pick out discerning differences that would make me say I would like one versus another. Julia?
I feel pretty much the exact same way. They are both absolutely phenomenal beers, and trying to pick out those teeny tiny nuances to figure out which one is the best. Like they're both the best, but you have to find like that, like you were saying,
Yeah,
those
there's some
tiny
little thing that you like
things.
more.
Right.
I have to also, both of these are a little bit old, and I can definitely taste that. This has been going on since late July. Some of these beers were packaged a few months ago. Some of them weren't, but
Before that, before July. So
Yeah,
like
possibly.
March.
not all, not all of them.
They were packaged in December.
Do you guys?
No, they weren't.
Do we really want to start that discussion of seasonal creep? And if
No,
it's
not
real?
at all.
No,
It's
No.
not real.
No,
No.
we talked about that way too much.
No, but important for the audience to know that if you haven't been following along,
Man,
this is the only blind tasting of the whole process, right? No,
And normally I know what the. I mean, and we do know what the four beers are, but it's blind beyond that.
right. So, but every round before that, you knew what brewery, what beer you were drinking as
In
you were
comparison
drinking
to
it
the
other,
through,
correct,
through,
yeah.
through the.
The winner of this this competition, by the way, gets to take this trophy home, which
It's a badass trophy.
took a lot more time and a lot more money to make than I thought it was going to. That thing was like $70 to put together.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Our Patreon dollars at work.
Patreon dollars at work. If anybody is a fan of the show or shows that I do, and you do want to support me making goofy trophies, you can go to the gnarlygnome.com support and you can do it that way. You guys have any thoughts
Man,
on these
this
right now?
This
Okay.
is really,
So
really hard.
I think D has a little bit of like a little more of a hoppy thing going on,
Yes,
like a
yes.
floral hoppy a note maybe. And I don't
Right,
know if I
not-
would pick
Yeah.
it out
Not
if it wasn't.
bitter as in- not
But-
like a hop bitterness,
so-
but right.
Yeah, but you're right in the fact that it probably brings, if you're talking about flavor and profiles, things that have one note, two note, three notes, that sort of thing. This one brings to me more than two notes to it. But I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I know it's delicious,
Right.
but I don't know if a Oktoberfest beer that you would call your
No,
favorite.
no. For this one, you pick which one you think is the better Oktoberfest.
Right,
beer.
because it's not about
Yeah, the
style
last
itself.
one
Okay.
where I'm doing.
Well, I'm going
I
A
would
then.
mine.
I'm gonna go A. Sorry, D.
Is
Everyone knows
Marco
that I love
hates
D,
D.
but because it's a great beer.
So you don't like the little hoppy little thing in the background?
Well, I would just prefer the consistency.
Okay, I mean, it's fine. That's fine.
Throughout the beer, the consistency of A is sessionable. D. I will. The beer D has several different nuances to it, which is fine. It's delicious. I'm not saying it's not, but when I'm sitting and I'm using your sort of thing that you talk about, I'm sitting out at a beer garden. I want to have a beer. I'm going to have a liter of a beer, and I just want to enjoy my time. And this is a very consistent, clean beer presentation throughout. And not that D is not delicious. If I'm at the brewery that made this beer, I'm going to have it and till I need to Uber home. But I am picking A.
I'll wait. I'll hold off on mine before you vote.
I'm going D.
Hell yeah.
Picking
All
D
right.
because
Julia.
and almost the same reasons for Marco, but kind of the opposite. Because as everyone knows who listens to Truth Beer Pod, I'm an incredibly slow drinker. So for me, I want those extra notes. I like that hoppier floral. That they're both incredibly flavorful. But I think I like the extra level of flavor that I get from D. because it's going to take me longer to get through each pint, each liter, each whatever.
Should have given them like colors or something.
You gonna do that next year instead of ABC?
Yeah,
about the D.
I think for me, if I'm going for pint after pint, A's going to end up being a little too. It's not just going to have the flavor to keep me drinking it all night long. It's still excellent. It's incredibly difficult, but between the two,
I think
D's
that's
my vote.
that's the argument between fest beers and Märzen's a lot of times too, which I would say out of just these two, D leans more towards the fest beer side, A leans more towards the Märzen side. Not that either one of these are either one of those styles, but a lot of people say that the Märzen's are just a little too heavy for them. They don't want to drink them all the time, and it's hot outside. It doesn't. I think it's a bunch of baloney, but I said baloney because my kids are here. Bunch of BS. Because I think that Märzen's go pretty well in the heat too. But I understand exactly what you're saying of that drinkability. With that being said, I think I like A a little bit better. I like that more malty kind of rich flavor to it. So A will move on to the finals, and we're not going to reveal what this is until after the finals.
Okay.
All right. Also, we have to kind of conserve,
I was just about
especially
to ask, do we
this one
finish
here
these, or are we-
specifically.
Okay.
We have some of the other ones, right? Okay. There's second cans of, except for this one. I'm assuming. I'm pretending like I don't know exactly what this is.
B.
All right. So.
Okay, so don't drink very much of B.
Well,
what you're saying.
you said we have a half a can. Okay, we're okay.
Thanks for showing me what it is.
It's obvious. So, the concern with all of this, so I gather all these beers throughout the season, and Westside Fest beer came in 4-packs, and then everybody drank it all. It's really hard to find Westside Fest beer right now. It's on tap at a couple places, but I don't think there's cans anywhere, so I only had one can of it left, and I think that's what this number or letter B is, but not to spoil anything. Did you guys try these yet?
No.
All right, so this
I was
is
waiting for you.
C versus B, or B versus C, however you want to.
All right, let's go.
Oh, okay. I always think that these are a little bit harder for me to do because it's not just picking out one little characteristic. There's a lot of differences between these two beers. They're both all four of these beers are really pretty too, which
I'm in.
isn't
I'm
always
down.
the case.
No, I had a sip. I'm ready.
You already have a choice, or you already have some thoughts?
Yes. Yes.
Give us some thoughts first.
Okay. So, I feel like C's a little more malty than B. I feel like C has a little more crispness to it than B has a little more crispness to it than C. I feel like overall, from a malt perspective, it's a lighter malt flavor. It still is within, very much so, the category, and I'm down for it. I'm here.
Which you said
B.
B?
Yes, B.
Julia, you have thoughts? We have to, and I say this every time I do a showdown in this competition, but all of these beers are fantastic beers.
They're great beers.
Just about every one of these beers lined up here was incredible this year. There were a couple that maybe could get a little better next year, and we won't call them out. But these are all top notch.
Yeah.
that damn Fretboard beer. Shout out to, if we didn't mention this already, shout out to Fretboard too for letting us up here on the stage tonight for
Hell yeah.
a live show. These are always fun. A lot of stress putting it together. I have two small children.
I don't
who
know
are
how much stress
sitting there
Jim
in the
had
middle,
putting it together.
and
Jim, did you have any stress putting it
and trying
No,
to
it's good.
trying
It's
to
like,
make
nah,
things happen
nah,
sometimes
nah,
is
stress.
complicated.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know what stress you're talking about. You showed up. We're ready.
Julia, you have thoughts?
I do, and they actually mirror Marco's. His notes match my notes exactly on this one, and I've
We're
got to
good
give
at
it to
that.
B. We are good at that.
For anybody who listens to our
I mean,
pod,
C
our notes
is-
usually
C is
match each other.
spectacular, but there's something about B that just would be easier for me to drink more of it in quantity, but it's not a fair competition by any means. But if I had to pick, B is where I'm going with this one.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go that way too. And I historically, like I lean more towards Märzen's than Fest beers, which is why this one has been so again, assuming that I know what this is. This one has been fun for me all year this year because it really shifted the way I started thinking about Fest beers. It is as malty as any beer could want to be, but then just it's got that crispy thing to it and that little snap at the end, and it's a good beer.
Certainly, I know that all too well because what was it, 3 years ago or 4 years ago? You picked the beer that I brewed as one of your favorites until you found out it was like 7.5% ABV.
It was a really good beer, but it was just too much.
What? It's too much alcohol. I was like, okay, well, it was your favorite. I'll take it.
That was before the actual competition really started, right?
Yeah, probably.
So, do you guys remember who each year's winners have been? Can you trace it back?
Oh God, no.
I know that Listerman won.
So we'll start
one.
last year.
Right.
Start last year, because they're in this room. They are one of these beers.
Sonder.
Yeah, Sonder won last year.
Saunders, yeah.
Listerman the year before.
Listerman the year before. And I think Braxton the year
Braxton
before that.
the year before that.
And that was the only actual structured competitions. But.
So I can finish this then, right?
Yeah, you can
C?
finish
I can
yours.
finish C.
Is there any way that we can figure out a way to top off A and B for me? Can you guys make that happen?
Yeah. Let me grab all the A's.
Do you guys
So
need topped
just
off
the
right now?
A's.
So A. We need
Yeah, I'll take
A.
yeah, just give her A for right now.
A. I think we're
all friends.
We're fine.
Fine. Do you want to do B?
And
is
is
trying not
Josh-
to look and see what's happening over there.
Okay.
I'm pretty full on B.
I'm pretty full, but I'll top it off because I love it.
Actually,
so.
you know what? Yeah, just
Yeah.
fill it to the brim. What are you?
It's-
I'm sorry.
it's
What?
like-
I'm sorry. Was it? Is there a
It took
question?
like a half a sip.
Like,
Yeah, we can
What are you
kill these.
talking?
We can kill these while we're.
Like,
Cheers,
what do you
guys.
cheers.
Roast.
Gross.
You didn't do a from the beer fridge. Did you need that?
They're
Oh.
so good.
Okay. It's not a Cincy Brewcast unless you do a from the beer fridge.
From the cooler today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you to Caroline,
Duncan
who
Caroline.
is here
She is
representing
half of the Craft Parenting Podcast.
Craft Parenting
Shout out to them.
Podcast and in full German Donna Schwaben gear. She's got a
She's
name tag.
dirtling it up, yeah.
She's got a name tag, so she's official.
She has a name
In
tag. Oh, she
serving-
does have a
She
name
does have a
tag.
name
In
tag. Yeah.
serving our Oktoberfest beers is a very official sort of process.
Thank you, Josh.
Gnome applied for official Donna Schwaben serving process, and so now Caroline's here.
For anybody who hasn't figured out, when you come to a live show, that a brewcast or anything that I do, you might just get roped into doing things because I just can't do it all myself. I've learned that over the last few live shows. So speaking of which, thank you guys for all of your work at Big Sis a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to help.
You're very welcome. It was fun. We had a good time.
All right, I'm going to dive into these. You guys are more than welcome to vote, but your votes don't count in this round because this is for all of the marbles. There's no marbles. You don't get any marbles. I could give you some marbles, but you get a
I
trophy.
want marbles.
I was also going to make little tiny trophies for the
Like
the-
marble-sized trophies?
No, not marbles. Maybe a little bigger. Like I was going to get some little domes and
Runner-ups,
paint them gold too, but
runners-up.
I couldn't. Too much stuff going on.
That's okay.
This is again. It makes it really hard because these beers are so different.
I know, right?
This is
like
the pressure.
I know.
The
You're
You're just
pressure.
all watching us taste beers.
I know. It's almost as traumatic as answering one of Nim's trivia questions.
You want to do a trivia
no,
question
no,
while we?
no, absolutely
Yes,
not.
do it. Do that.
Absolutely not.
I don't know if you can hear the ticking from where you're at there.
I can't hear the ticking, thank God.
Oh, this is so stressful because
It's beer.
They're-
It shouldn't be stressful.
they're both really, really good
yeah,
beers.
they are.
This is a solid right in half.
This is difficult. I mean, without a doubt.
I want to hear your thoughts. I have mine made up.
They're so both. All of these beers really delicious, and this is not trying to, give out fluff or anything like that. They're really great.
They're phenomenal.
beers.
Yeah.
Great job picking out your final four. Thanks for making it tough. Now, you were ready to go and said which ones.
Yeah, I know which. So
And our votes don't count. So
this is what were this was A and B.
yeah,
Is that right?
yeah,
That's my winner there.
that's mine.
That's my pick.
It's absolutely
I'm
mine.
opposite, but
You're opposite. Okay.
I mean, again, they're
You're wrong.
phenomenal.
These
so
are,
it doesn't-
these are delicious.
Yeah.
All right,
these
so-
are delicious.
I'm not going to say which one because some of the people will look at these and know which beer is there. So I'm going to start with the
This
ones
one's High
that
Life.
did not win.
This is Dos Equis Amber.
All right, we're going to start with D.
The D. Go ahead.
D with Sonder. Sorry, Danny. Not winner two years in a row. It was a great beer.
amazing beer.
That was the one with that little hoppy thing, right?
Yeah.
That
I have had sessioned quite a bit of Saunders
me
Oktoberfest
too.
this year. No lie. I mean, it was a fantastic beer. I enjoyed it. You have had many of my dollars there, sir.
He's not even listening to you anymore.
No.
No,
He
because
doesn't care now that he lost.
yeah.
C. Brink.
All
Brinktoberfest.
right.
Okay.
McLeese, sorry. He's not
He's
listening
not
either.
listening either. It's fine.
Because we didn't pick him.
Sorry. All right. Now, between the remaining two, again, I'm not going to say which one is which because it'll give it away. I mean, we can officially call it a second place this year. Normally, I don't
Yeah.
say like a second place because it's between a couple. And
Is
I
it a
pick
second
winner.
place or a runner-up?
Both. Either one.
Yes.
Your choice. Silver medal goes to West Side's Fest beer,
All right.
which means first place. Let me double check. Oh,
High Life.
it's Sam Adams Oktoberfest. Jeez, we did everything right. No, it's Matt
That's
Tree.
weird.
Matt Tree.
Madrid Ziegler.
Congrats, guys. Does somebody want to come up and accept the Golden Gnome?
Come on up, guys. Get your
Somebody
trophy.
come get this
Come
trophy.
on up.
Yes. Bring the
There
whole
they
crew.
are. The time has come.
A gold medal at GABF and the Golden Gnome in the same week.
Look at this.
Wow. I tell you,
Here, give one of them the can. Here, hold on. Guys, grab the can.
That's
I know, grab the can so they can
we'll do some pictures
Okay.
later of the
All
other
right,
can.
cool.
This one doesn't have the fun little gold diamonds on it.
That's
You know what? I want to congratulate your palates for picking the best beer up here.
hell yeah. Rock.
It
Yeah,
is-
I tell you what,
Congratulations.
Big Beer was out there trying to stop this. And we weren't going to let him. Because
No.
all of you in here, you're supporting the right cause.
We did our
Just letting
duty.
you know.
We did our duty.
We did.
Are you referring to Sam Adams as Big Beer?
No.
Just trying to understand what you're talking about. Sam Adams Fest beer is really good this year
Oh,
too.
I
I mean,
haven't found it yet to grab.
I'm
it's in-
sure it's amazing.
I think it's
haven't had
only
it.
in mixed
Is
packs.
that bottle full? Can we
It
chill
is.
it down
It's-
and
we could.
drink it?
if Fretboard doesn't mind, we could do that.
We're drinking
Ask for
anything but Fretboard beer.
forgiveness,
I mean,
not
what are you talking
forgiveness.
about?
That's a good point. I have flashbacks to some of those shift beer shows. I'm like, well, it's not that bad.
Where the hell is Shift Beers anyways?
Yeah, they're always too
You
busy. You know
know.
how it goes.
Yeah.
Josh said he was going to be here, and then he backed out. And then I saw Brian an hour before I came here, and he said, I'll be there. And I guess he had, like, IBS or something. He couldn't come. And so
Gotta listen to their show. There's a
he's
bunch
got
of
a
people here who are
sensitive
very
stomach. I mean,
confused now.
something's going on there. He needs to see a GI guy.
So, what can we do to improve this next year, to make it better, to make it more fun, more fair? I don't know. What can we do next year with this this competition?
Was there a question of whether it was fair? Number one.
That's
Number two is, was there a question of if it was fair? I mean, I feel like it's your decision. It's your bracket.
Sure.
I mean,
The only thing I can think of, if you wanted to,
she's got a better answer.
if you wanted to expand upon the Cincinnati Craft Beer Oktoberfest Quest, is in addition to your own personal picks, for each bracket you do, also put up somewhere, pick like a single social media or even on your website, a singular place, and have the public vote on who they would pick out of those two. So you have your bracket, and then you have the fan pick bracket, which could also lead up to a live finale,
What do
final
they know?
finale at the end. That's the only thing I can think of because
I don't
it is
know.
so subjective to your own personal
Do we
taste.
But it's
trust? Do we
his
trust
brag.
the public?
No, but I think
No.
it'd be funny.
It would be funny.
It'd be great.
But
Get more people involved. That's what you got to do.
There's a lot of debate every year over fan-run brackets. We'll leave that kind of
Yeah, I
loose.
would-
And
Well, we're not asking them to name it like
not gonna
Mary
call anybody out,
or
but-
anything like that. But I think that it would be fun to see in conjunction with what you do, out of everyone who follows you, all that. I mean, there's a big chunk of the population that I think it would be really interesting to see what their palates say,
Right.
and
Well,
to
I
kind
think
of go from that.
I think maybe it would have to be a prequel where you, Gnome, would say, "Hey, these are the two." You put it out maybe a day or two ahead of time. Give me your vote, and then you do it, and then you give your pick. And you don't. You just say, "Hey, your pick was this, but mine was this."
you guys
and then
chose
Well,
this,
what
and
I
here's
was
why you're
thinking-
wrong.
And exactly,
Well,
you're
I
wrong.
was- I
you
was
just
thinking
you just move
after.
on because it's your pick anyway.
Sure.
Right.
Well,
Let's-
and because it is the Gnome's Oktoberfest Quest, I would say do it after you do your pick. Like, okay, here's the bracket. Here's A versus B. I picked this. Now I'm going to put it out to the general public. What do you think, A or B? That way you can kind of see the,
Right.
I don't say evolution of the bracket, but kind of see where the masses, using air quotes for people literally not watching the live stream this
Right.
time.
There
what
were a
they're
few
thinking.
people on.
Yeah. Hey, that Josh guy's watching. That's awesome.
There's a couple people live.
Nice.
For anybody that is on the stream, feel free to chime in with your thoughts too. Favorite beer styles? Do you guys have a favorite beer style? I mean, I think I've made it pretty clear that I have two that kind of jump back and forth for me between Pilsner and Oktoberfest. And
Not Bob.
Yeah, and then
I like Bach a lot. Which
no English mild.
English
English
mild, that's
mild
true.
for you.
That's number 3, I think.
Yeah.
No, not
Which,
really. It's really just
if-
what I'm in the mood for. Like in the winter when it's colder, my favorite style are the darker beers, the heavier beers. In the summer, they're the lighter beers. So I don't really have one singular style that I am always
Yeah,
picking above something else.
I have to throw Bach in there now after you mentioned that. Now, so, four, was that
You're
five?
welcome.
5 favorite style. I feel like
Now,
I'm on an episode of Sonder Stories now. I've got all these favorites that.
you gotta
What are
have
the qualifiers? Yeah.
Let's go. Qualifiers. You have 10 taps rotating, but then you can rotate the last tap.
With your favorite beer
with
on a
your
rainy
favorite beer.
Tuesday.
People have asked me a bunch about Bach and why I don't do a bracket like this with Bach beer.
Because nobody cares
well,
except for 1 week.
It's that, but it's also there's not that many people that package them, which this makes it easier to
You
do
know
a
why?
bracket.
Because nobody cares.
That's
except
not
for
true.
1
That's not
week.
true. But
If any breweries that are sitting here in the room want to package a Bach beer for me, put it in cans and I'll buy it. I
there
actually,
we go. There we go.
They said challenge accepted.
I'm expecting it. I'm expecting it in spring.
for anybody that listens to the live show every Monday and that watches label approvals when I
I love the label
shout them out,
approvals.
you guys know that that's kind of a little bit of a joke because there might have been a label approval for a Bach beer from Mad Tree that already came through. So
No, I am
Not-
definitely Pilsner, hoppy Pilsner, and then
a proper Pilsner, right?
proper.
Should we get into that?
Oh my God. How much time do we have?
I love West Coast IPAs. I'm lactose intolerant, so I can't have a lot of the other
Right.
like off stuff and dark beer fun things.
We
and
don't need to hear about your issues,
sour
man.
things, and so. But
All you do is whine.
I do. I have some. No, I have some
Does
wine.
wine too.
I have some wine. We could talk about tequila.
Oh my God, no.
What is it about? So the favorite beer styles that you may have, or that may
Come in and
compete
out of
back and
season
forth
with-
in your mind about your favorites. What is it about them that makes them a favorite for you? Because I find very different things about each of the styles that I do consider favorites or up there in the thing. For me, Oktoberfest, I love the season. I love the experiences around Oktoberfest. I do love the beer itself too, but it's different than Pilsner. I don't have when I think of Pilsner, I don't think of a certain situation where I'm drinking Pilsner beer.
Yeah, you do. It's just the everyday situation.
Maybe.
Right? And I love Oktoberfest as well. And I love Oktoberfest. I love Fest beers. Shout out to Third Eye's Fest beer, which was so freaking phenomenal this year. It was absolutely great. It's situational drinking. It's what you're doing. It's who you're with. It's the mood that you're in. And I have go-tos for that kind of stuff. And then I have sneaky one-offs in a situation where, let's say we get into it's the cold of December. I'm having a family meal. The whole family's together, which almost never happens because I have adults and teenagers, and teenager hates me, and but maybe a Sam Adams cherry wheat sneaks in December, or maybe I have a barley wine or something to get myself through a football game or whatever it may be. It's just. Favorite beer, that's one of the pocket questions that I have a pocket answer for because, man, you catch me on the right day and time, just about anything that I can drink and I'm not allergic to could be a right day or time for something.
Sure. When I think there's probably plenty of at times you can pull a quote from a brewcast or something like that where, I've talked about not loving Belgian beers all that much, or Belgian style beers, and then
but
somebody will put one in front of me and I'm like, man, that's really good.
Yeah. Every one of the last 10 you've had has been really good,
So
at least according to what you said.
Well, I'm always honest when I say something. If I don't like something, you're not going to hear me say very much about it. I might say, oh, that's a pretty beer, or something like that. I don't think I've ever said that. Or, we may just kind of move past it and not really say anything. Yeah. Or sometimes I'll write some kind of a blog post that gets people all angry at me. You never know. But, beer styles to me, it is very situational for me. If I, when I'm sitting, outside in the sun, what I want to drink is very different than if I'm holed up in the basement and watching some kind of a local sports team just crap the bed. It just different. It's
FCC
different.
made the playoffs. That's all
I
I'm saying.
heard that. That's soccer, right?
Yes,
Okay.
it is. Or European football.
I
if
saw
that's
your
thing.
your banana team is coming to Cincinnati or Ohio
no,
or something.
they're coming to Youngstown or
I saw
Athens.
something.
They're up north.
I saw,
so I don't know. The Savannah Bananas.
Yeah, I saw some kind of an
They're
article.
fun.
I didn't read it though because
It's
I still
fine.
haven't watched this documentary you told
It's
me to
only
watch.
5 episodes. You can do it.
Um,
But I'm kind of with you on the seasonal thing, to where the style of beer reminds you of the season. Like the darker beers for me in the fall and winter. I love hoodies and jeans season.
Right.
So I love when it gets cooler, those darker, heavier beers that you just sip slower. They're great. And that's why, for me, it's all, like you said, situational.
Right. It's the fun to me though is finding new beers that become favorites, or finding other beers that you may have passed over other years that that maybe you forgot how much you love. That's part of the fun of this bracket for me, is that it kind of, not that you have to twist my arm very much, but it forces me to go out there and try all of these beers every single year. And there are things like Sam Adams. If I didn't do this, I might not have even picked that up this year. And I love
Right.
Sam Adams. Don't get me wrong, but there's so much
GABF
other stuff.
winner.
Yeah, there's so much other stuff. That's true. not for this beer specifically.
No, but
there's so many other beers that maybe kind of get flashier over the years, and that maybe you kind of lose some of those ones that you've loved before.
Well, but what I would say is I appreciate you doing this, and not only doing this, also inviting us and being a part of it, and also thank you to Fretboard for hosting this. I was at another brewery before I came here, and I was at the other brewery, and we were talking about what we're going to do for the evening, and I said I was coming to do this, and they said, really? And I said, yes. They say, well, I know somebody, something, and then I've never been to Fretboard. And I said, well, you need to get over to Fretboard. And they said, well, how far away is it? And it's like 6 or 7 minutes away from where you're at. And so they said, oh,
like
wow.
right around the
So
corner.
you could jog.
What my point is that the reach, the networking, so the way that all of this gets put out and get to other people, the reach, it's real. It happens, and so people are probably somebody, one person, two people, three people, who knows, are going to come here because of the work that you did.
You don't have to call it work.
Well, you're full time.
Well,
but
let's.
Hey, as long as your wife is still in the room, it's work.
Is she still? She's
I
gone.
don't know, the table's empty.
well, there are sippy cups and stuff over there.
So they're
but
still
but my
somewhere.
point is that it's getting to people, it's reaching people, and then it's it's networking and not just the show, but the word about Fretboard and possibly the word about Truth, Beer, and Consequences. Who knows? But that sort of thing reaches, and so I was happy to explain what was happening tonight, because maybe one more person who would tell one more person who would tell one more person about your show, the OktoberfestQuest, getting to Fretboard, the food, I mean, just the beer, everything. I mean, that's how all of this grows. And you've been doing this for what? How long?
What, OktoberfestQuest or the podcast?
The podcast itself.
Like 8 years, maybe.
8 years.
But on going back to kind of OktoberfestQuest and why I do it and why I think that it's important for people, like, maybe not to this level, but turn it into some kind of a challenge for you also. Like, I know that it's easy when we have breweries that we go to because they're close to us, or our friends are there, or whatever it may be, and we get used to going to those same places, and it's comfortable, and there's nothing wrong with that, but create some kind of a challenge for yourself to go somewhere new or try something. Even something as simple as like once a month or once a week, even when you go to your favorite beer store and you grab a 6-pack of beer, make a little mix of 6 of like a bunch of one style from all these different breweries around the city, or just make a mix of 6 of just breweries that you haven't been to or you haven't tried their beer, and like just keep pushing yourself to try new things and to keep pushing this idea of what to me what made craft fun, especially at the very beginning, that sense of exploration and that sense of excitement of trying something you haven't had before, and just keep pushing yourself. And like I want people to always try new things,
I mean, if it wasn't for OktoberfestQuest, there are so many amazing local Oktoberfest beers out there. I can't get through all of them.
Sure.
So using your OktoberfestQuest, like, I really like this over this, and just seeing some of the kind of comments and feedback of what other people have said. If it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't have made an attempt to get Third Eye's Oktoberfest. I wanted to try it, but just it gave me that extra push to say, you know what, I have heard 2 very different opinions on it. Everyone said the beer was good, but some people really, really liked it, and other people went, yeah, it's good, but it's not the best out there. So it made me take that extra step, that extra effort to go, I'm going to go out and find
figure out who's right and who's wrong.
Right. And well, not even that, but just for myself, like, if there's so much of if everyone says one beer is amazing across the board, Not that I'm not going to try to get it if I haven't had it, but I already know it's probably going to be a really good beer.
Right.
When you get a beer that has some differing opinions, that's when I'm like, okay, I want to see what I think about it. And so that helps get me out of, I don't even want to call it a comfort zone, but out of my,
The
I'm just gonna go for the
normalcy.
same-
Like
exactly, yeah.
But I also think, though, too, locally, we're very blessed in the fact that we have great Oktoberfest beers from all of these breweries, and all the breweries locally say, no, we are making an Oktoberfest, and it's going to be great, and we're going to put our best foot forward to make an Oktoberfest. So much so that so many communities that didn't have Oktoberfest festivals before are starting to gain traction and have Oktoberfest festivals. There was an Oktoberfest in East Walnut Hills. There was an Oktoberfest in Summit Park in Blue Ash. There's Saunders Oktoberfest, which happened. Started a couple of years ago. What was it in 2019 or 2018? 2018? 2019. 2019.
19,
I mean,
21,
it's
22.
There's an
I know these
Oktoberfest celebration in Lebanon. You have all of these, and I'm not talking Donna Schwaben, obviously. That's
Germania, yeah.
but my point is that it's such a big deal. The beer and the beer has to be there, but it's more about the community, the festivities, the things that it brings to the community.
Colin from Westside wants to know if you're from Baltimore, Maryland.
Who, me?
That's what he said. I don't know.
Oh, Baltimore, Maryland. No. No.
I'm curious now why. Why? Is it like an accent
Colin,
thing? Is it some
why,
kind of? I lost my train of thought now.
Just start talking about Oktoberfest and you're
Louisiana.
back on track.
Start talking about I don't know, crab or something.
Les le bon temps roulé.
No, I was
You want to have some jambalaya? You want to have the
Oh my God.
crawfish étouffée?
No, he's not.
Long answer for a short question.
You talked about festivals, Oktoberfest festivals. Let me ask you guys what your favorite ones are.
You mean
It put you on the
Julie and
spot.
I?
Yeah, put you guys on the spot a little bit. Like as far as festivals that you've been to, where Oktoberfest favorites.
I would say a tie between the Donna Schwaben and Saunders.
Oh, good answer.
Just being honest. It's been a long time since I've been down to Cincinnati, so.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm going to take the one out of the mix where it was hosted at the brewery that I brewed at, if I take that one out of the mix, I would say Sonder and Lebanon's Oktoberfest.
What makes a good Oktoberfest festival? I mean, we talked about the beer a lot, but what makes a good festival?
Well, I'm automatically kicking out the biggest one in the whole area, right? I'm kicking that one out.
Are you talking about Oktoberfest Cincinnati?
Yeah.
Well, and I'll tell you why that's not going to be one of mine. There is no feeling of community when you're down there. It just feels like you're with a bunch of other people, which I guess is a community in and of itself. But I don't feel like at Cincinnati.
But you're worried somebody's going to throw up on your shoes.
Well, but in 2020, when they were sending you Cincinnati boxes,
I did
and
that,
you could
Put
put
the
the
sign in your
sign
front
in your
yard.
yard.
Sure.
I bought the box
I did too.
because I wanted to support the overall event.
I felt
you know,
more a
and
part of a community with that,
Yeah.
doing that, than I have ever done
I still have the
going
box.
downtown.
It's a really good
weird.
point. I did too.
Yeah, it's.
I still have the box. I still have the hats. I
Say,
still have
yeah.
the
You have the
fake
yard sign?
suspenders and the yard sign and
Those are
everything.
great.
But
Me
it
too.
was
They were
just
real
the
suspenders. They were just cheap suspenders.
but it was to support to support the overall
They
idea.
were support your pants. That's what they're for.
Well, I was supporting, the idea and the event.
Right.
But for me, I don't know if you know this, Julia, but I don't get outside of my area very much. And for me, the Sonder Oktoberfest is
It's still in your bubble.
it's in my bubble, and not only is it in my bubble, I knew about Sonder in the planning phases. I knew about Sonder in the planning phases, and I was happy to see Sonder come on board as they got, as they got started. I knew a lot of the people and got to know a lot of the people from Sonder, and I know them, and I have an emotional connection,
So
not just to
community
Sonder,
almost.
but to a lot of the people that are there, because they're great people, and they're always, happy and supportive, and we're passionate about the fact that not just me, but also my son is very supportive of Sonder, and so they hold a special place in my heart. A person I know, or a couple of people I know, actually, that didn't start originally there, brew there now, and so it's just a place where I'm happy to see success, and they keep building on that success, and I'm happy, and I want them to continue to do that, and I'm happy. I volunteered at the Oktoberfest. Not this October. I worked it.
You did kind of volunteer at that one, too.
I worked it, and then I volunteered at the one before because I was with another brewery and we weren't represented there, but I just wanted to be part of the event, and so I feel that event for me holds a special place, and I'm supporting a place that I want to have a great event and to continue to see great things from and succeed. The other reason why I say Lebanon is because that crowd supported Cellar Dwellers so well.
Which is
like
where you used to brew.
where I used to brew. And they supported us so well and so heavy, so much so that we weren't at a particular event. And then the customer base talked about us so much that they had to invite us to the next one. And so we went, and we were represented. And so that level of passion from the community really touched me, and and that event itself has grown, and so that's why I would say those two for me.
Still seems like community is the general answer with everything. It's
For sure.
It's what makes craft beer good. It's what makes Oktoberfest good. It's what makes nights like this good. Getting to hang out with people and getting to spend time with like-minded individuals and drink a few beers. Which
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I don't have any in front of me, so we need to go do that. We need to get some
Yes, we
beers.
do.
Thank you guys for hanging out tonight. Thanks for listening to the podcast. If you are listening to Cincy Brewcast right now, if that's what you're doing, tell somebody else to subscribe. If you're on the live stream and you don't know about Cincy Brewcast, jump over and subscribe to that too. Just know that this next week's episode you just listened to, so that won't be that fun for you. But
And thank you to all the
Whatever.
finalists.
Yes,
and to
thank you.
everyone that made Oktoberfest.
So all of the
period,
breweries,
yeah.
I know that there are probably some breweries that are like, we probably just don't really want to be involved in something like this. We don't want to be judged against other people. And so thank you for your patience with me and for making you be involved in things like this. Thank you guys for showing up tonight. I know that it's a Monday night. It's not always fun to get out of the house and sit and listen to us ramble about how your beer stacks up against everybody else's here in town. So thank you very much, and thank you for making great beer. It makes all of this way easier. If it was bad,
And harder
bad
at the
beer,
And
same
harder
time.
to say, exactly.
Yeah,
that's
that's
what she said.
we will be back next week. I don't know what we're talking about next week off the top
Probably
of my
beer.
head, but probably beer, probably local beer, probably something delicious.
It's a good concept.
And if anybody doesn't know about the normal weekly live streams, every Monday night, usually around 9, get on Facebook and follow the Gnarly Gnome because you can hang out and drink with us there too. We'll see you next week. For everybody on the live stream, bye. Thank you very much for hanging out. We'll see you
Cincy
next week
Brewcast
also.
is the voice of Cincy Craft.